I then started to get a little heavier, and I was bothered by that because I'm kind of an athletic person.
Mhm.
And I decided to go try to get some help. And being a psychologist, I figured it must be a psychological problem. So I tried to love myself thin, for lack of a better term. I went to see the best psychiatrists and psychologists in and around the New York area. I took medication. I went to Overeaters Anonymous for a couple of years.
Mhm.
Um, Everything was it's a journey I don't regret taking because it made me a deeper, more spiritual, whole person. But I'd get a little better and a lot fatter, a little better and a lot fatter.
Mm.
And it just wasn't working. It just wasn't helping. Eventually, through a series of events, I came to the conclusion that I had the wrong paradigm, that I couldn't really love myself then because I was trying to heal the hole in my heart so I wouldn't heal the hole in my stomach, right?
Mhm.
I decided that doesn't really work. And what I really needed to do was to become more of the alpha dog of my own mind.
Right.
And if an alpha wolf is challenged for leadership, it doesn't say, oh my goodness, someone needs a hug. It says, you know,
Kill
get
it.
back and growls and it snarls, get back in line or I'll kill you, right?
Yeah.
Um, Here's what convinced me of that. First of all, my ex-wife was traveling a lot for business and I didn't have a commute. I worked at home. So I had a lot of time on my hands. I didn't have kids. So I had a second career. I started doing consulting for like Fortune 500 companies. It's kind of on the wrong side of the war, to tell you the truth. I feel guilty about it now.
Mhm.
But, they were paying me an awful lot of money and I was like a hidden persuader. I was doing these psychological research studies to figure out how to sell more sugar and
Right.
also pharmaceutical drugs. Um, they were very effective also. But because of that, I saw what was happening inside the corporations and how they were spending millions, if not billions of dollars to engineer these hyper palatable concentrations of starch and sugar and fat and excitotoxins. And it was all designed to hit the reptilian brain, to hit the bliss point in the reptilian brain without giving us enough nutrition to feel satisfied. And that's relevant on several levels. First of all, if you don't have enough nutrition to feel satisfied, you're creating an addiction.
Mhm.
Secondly, the reptilian brain does not know love. The reptilian brain looks at something in the environment and says, do I eat it? Do I mate with it? Or do I kill it?
Yeah.
Eat, mate, or kill, like a bad college drinking game, right, Peter? Um, and 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 it's not it's the mammalian brain and the neocortex that say, before you eat, mate, or kill that thing, what impact will that have on the people that you love and your tribe and your family? And it's really up in the neocortex that says, well, before you eat, mate, or kill that thing, what impact does this have on your long-term goals,
Mm.
like weight loss or health or fitness, right?
Yeah.
So um, these are the reason that was relevant to me in flipping my paradigm was because these are two very strong outside forces that have nothing to do with whether my mama loved me enough or not, or whether I was in a bad marriage or not,
Mm.
right? It's billions of dollars in the big food industry targeting the reptilian brain that doesn't know anything about all this love and psychology stuff.
Yeah. Of course.
Then I realized that the advertising industry was equally at fault, and they were capable of convincing you that you needed this stuff. So people think advertising doesn't affect them, but
Mhm.
advertising affects you more when you think it doesn't affect you because your sales resistance is down. So they've got you right where they want you.
Yeah.
And I saw all kinds of things going on. Like, for example, I was friendly with the VP of a major food bar manufacturer. And he told me their most profitable insight, as he was leaving the company, he said this, the most profitable insight was taking the vitamins out of the bar and putting the money into the packaging instead.
Mhm.
So it's profitable to fool us into thinking it's healthy because they had a multicolored, vibrant, diverse, colored package,
Yeah.
which in nature, when you encounter diverse, bright multicolors,
Mhm.
should be an indication that there are diverse micronutrients available.
Yeah.
That's what we say to eat the rainbow,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
green lettuce, red tomatoes, blueberries, purple cabbage. You eat the yellow carrots, you're getting a diversity of micronutrients.
Yeah.
But in this case, they were faking us out. And it's not just the foodware manufacturers, it's across the whole industry.
Yeah.
None of these things had anything to do with my personal psychology. And so I said, that's interesting. Then I looked at some biological parallels. And I got this from Jack Trimpey. He wrote a book called Rational Recovery. And he works with black and white addictions, not so much food, but more drugs and alcohol, although I think he does have a book on food now. And he pointed out that the requirement that we manage our impulse is inherent to civilization. So if you really, really have to pee and you're in the middle of a business meeting, you don't just pee on the floor, because we're part of a civilization. You repress or suppress that impulse. You tell your bladder, I hear you. I know we're going to have to take care of this in an appropriate way sooner or later, but I will dictate the time and the place and the manner in which we express this impulse. So it's not damaging, so it's consistent with my goals in civilization. Same thing with our reproductive organs. If you see a very attractive woman on the street, you don't run up and kiss her right away. You approach her in a particular way at a time in a an appropriate manner. Our civilization has norms for that. Otherwise, you get in a lot of trouble.